So welcome to this episode of NPHS Conversations. I'm your host, Katie Romiti. I'm the Early Head Start coach, and my guest today is Amber Boring, and she's going to tell us who she is and what she does at NPHS.
Okay, so I'm Amber Boring. As she said, I'm the Education and Training Manager for Northern Panhandle Head Start. Give a little background. I actually started here as a little 3-year-old in our center-based program right up the hill that way in our North Park building many years ago, but loved it then, love it now. My family loved it. I've been here for 12 years as an employee. I started as a home visitor, and I home visited for, we call them parent educators, but I home visited for about 7 years, and then I moved into the position that I'm in now, which is the Education and Training Manager, so a lot more focus on classroom, but still heavily involved with home visiting. In the meantime there, I was a supervisor as well, but basically my job now is to oversee all things education. I oversee the whole education component. Head Start has lots of components. You're going to get to hear about a lot of those. And the one I'm supposed to stay in is education. And but they all touch each other. So we have federal guidelines that we have to follow. I know nobody wants to hear about those, but we do have to hear about those. And we have a bunch of federal guidelines to follow. And so for my component, the most important things are making sure our teaching practices are good to go. We're going to talk about those. Making sure the learning environment that the children are in, and that could include the homes, is the best it can be for learning. Make sure we have curriculum, we screen children, and we assess them ongoing throughout the year, and then make sure, hopefully, we can involve the families, you guys, in your child's education, because ultimately we are just a step in the journey, but you are the whole journey. So we very much value your input for your children. So you want me to go into curriculum?
Yeah,
Okay.
so let's talk about it.
Well, because I'm gonna keep going. So with curriculum, it has to be based on scientifically valid research. We have to have materials that support the implementation of that curriculum, and we have to align all of the standards of that curriculum to the Head Start Early Learning Outcomes Framework standards. So there's all these standards that are scientifically research-based, that prove that we are a quality learning experience for your child. The curriculum also has to have an organized developmental scope and sequence. It has to include plans for children. It has to include materials for children. It has to include learning experiences that are based on how children learn and how they develop. So it has to be what we call developmentally appropriate, meaning we're not asking a 6-month-old to say their entire alphabet, because they're not ready for that yet. We're also not asking that 6-month-old to run down the street. They're not ready for that yet. So we want to guide them in ways that's developmentally appropriate for them. And we do that mostly through play. Play, number one, in our books. We want children to play. We need children to play. Play is what allows them to explore their world, explore the people, explore what's right, explore what's wrong, because we don't learn until we make a mistake. So the way that we do that here at our Head Start's all over the country, but the way we do that here in ours is we use creative curriculum, and for our center base children, that's 0 to 3. We were using it for 3 to 5, but this year specifically, this state allowed, West Virginia allowed the pre-K, so the 4 or 5-year-olds, to choose their own curriculums. And so each one of them have a different one. One of them still did stay with creative curriculum because it's great, but the others did decide to try something new. Still all research-based, all very valid, evidence-based curriculums that go based on children's developmental needs. Our home base uses Partners for a Healthy Baby, and the reason they use a different one is because it's still developmentally appropriate activities for children, but it also has topics for families. And so we want to involve the family, and home visitors, parent educators, they have a really unique role in that they do both. They get to engage the children educationally with the curriculum, and they get to engage the family with family-specific topics. So it could be educational, but it might also be other educational things like information about substance abuse, information about brain science and learning through play, and kind of the things we're talking about now. And so in our center-based side of things, we have family resource advocates, and I promise I won't get off topic, but we have family resource advocates who kind of do that side of things. So you still get both sides of the Head Start experience. It's just once your child's enrolled in the center, you get two people for the price of one, instead of the one person who comes to your house to do all of the learning and playing.
So there's so much that goes into it, just with curriculum, that we get misrepresented a lot as a Head Start and an early Head Start, but we are in fact a school. This is an educational environment. Do you want to expand on that a little bit more?
Correct. So when your child comes to us, we're not just babysitting all day long. Not that there's anything wrong with babysitting. Some babysitters go way above and beyond, and so no offense there. But we are required to, I guess, prove it. Prove that we are doing more than just watching children. And I said play because play was most important. So a lot of times people think, oh, just go play. Oh, just go play. Well, yeah, go play, but I'm gonna come play with you, because in this environment, maybe I've got some dolls and some cars and some blocks over here, and this particular child really likes blocks, and so they pick up the blocks. Now I can ask them questions, I can talk to them, I can have them talk back to me. And a lot of times we think about colors and numbers and letters, and yes, those things are important, but I want to really focus on how did the child, your child, choose that item? How did they decide, oh, I want to play with this thing? Why do I want to play with this thing? What am I going to do next? What's my plan? How do I decide after that, oh, somebody's coming into my space, now what do I do? And so the environment that we create with all of those materials, that's what creates all of the learning for our children. Creative curriculum is actually really big on that. They're really big on the environment being interesting for the children. They want you to set up interest areas such as dramatic play. That's where we pretend play. They want blocks. They want library. Even though they want library, just a little side note, they want books in basically all of the areas, because language and literacy is super important. So they want that to be able to happen anywhere. They want discovery. They want all of these different areas, and they're not meant to be well, you go to Discovery to learn science. You go to blocks to learn math. You go to dramatic play to learn social emotional. That's not what the intention is. The intention is you go to blocks because you like blocks, and you can learn within blocks literacy, language, social emotional skills, science skills. You can learn all of the physical development, fine motor development, all of the different skills that are in all those standards I mentioned. That's what they can learn in blocks, in dramatic play, in Discovery, in toys and games, in library, in technology. We've got all kinds of different interest areas. And even those other curriculums that I mentioned, those have similar, they might not call them interest areas, but they have similar learning areas within the classroom so that children are able to learn in the way that makes the most sense for them. So what we're not doing is sitting children down the way Katie and I are sitting here and writing on a piece of paper and matching up shapes to shapes or letters to letters with the draw of a line. We're not doing that. And the reason we're not doing that is because that's not developmentally appropriate for children 0 to 5.
Right.
We want them touching things, manipulating things. We want them feeling it, getting their senses involved in it, getting their body involved in it, getting on. And so we do expect our teachers, our education staff to be on the floor with the children. If you're a parent and you come in and you're wanting to volunteer, we want you on the floor. We want playtime happening. And so
fully involved.
Yes, fully involved. We want everyone playing and learning, and sure, if that means you ask them what color it is, you can do that. If that means somebody else wants to join in and you're like, I don't know about that, we don't have to solve that for them.
Right.
What could we do? They want to play with us too. And so we're going to learn all of those things with appropriate interactions. And so part of that is the teaching practices. We try to train a lot on what is appropriate teacher-child interactions. And so what we mean by that is I'm not going to come, if you're my child, I'm not going to come and just solve your problem. I want to find out what your brain is thinking and help you solve your problem. So that might look like I ask you to check the wall for a clue, or I might ask you to grab a book from the library that is about this specific thing that we're learning about, and get another clue. Could be a clue. I'm all about the clues right now.
Absolutely.
But what I'm not going to do is just tell you this is A, memorize A.
Yeah.
I'm going to want you to find A. I'm going to want you to walk on A on the floor. I'm going to want you to make it out of something, and really allow you to
problem solve independently with a little help.
Yes, exactly. Okay. That was a long way to say that. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. So part of your job, a major part of your job, is training. So let's talk about, so if I were to apply for NPHS today, what kind of onboarding would I get? What would that process look like for me if I'm walking through the door today?
Okay, so today it would look like, well, first, there's a whole process that happens before you walk in the door.
There's a whole process.
Yes, and our process is changing a little bit. So what's happening today might not be happening in the future, but that's because we're learning and growing, and that's what Head Start does. So we're excited about that. But what you would find today is you might get a phone call or a text or an email saying, hey, Indeed says you're possible candidate, and are you interested? Or you might apply, and one of our HR lovely people will call you and say, hey, we're interested, let's talk about it. And then you'll do a phone interview with one of our HR people. And then after that, you'll go on to an in-person interview. And so then, if you're chosen, then you walk through the door. So there's a lot of steps before you get to the door, but once you're in the door, we're glad to have you. And welcome to our family. Then it's a lot of learning. There's a whole lot of moving parts to Head Start. It's a little bit of a whirlwind of things because we like to be whole family focused. So that means there's a lot of moving parts when you work with a whole family. We also want to do more than just education. I know we're talking about education today, but there's a lot more parts to ensuring children and families, you guys are the best you can be. Absolutely. So you have to learn about all of those different parts. So you come in, first couple days, you learn policies and procedures. Most say this is the hardest part, but it's just because there's a lot of taking in the knowledge, a lot of reading, a lot of video watching, a lot of you go to this person for this thing and that, and you feel like you have to memorize everything and know everything and understand everything, and you don't. No. You literally don't.
You get all the grace.
You get all the grace because you learn on the job. So you meet with HR first. They kind of walk you through all of the processes. Your supervisor will come and meet with you. They'll help you learn on the job. And we also have what's called content area experts. And that's a little bit confusing for some people because we're just these extra helpful beings that are employed by the same people, and our job is to specifically help with one area. Mine is education. There's also health, family services, attendance, IRSA, and disabilities, mental health. All of the different categories of well-being has a person that specializes in that. So if an education staff were to walk in the door today, they would at some point that week, hopefully, meet with me or my coach. I have a coach in addition to Katie. There's another coach, Denise Blakemore. She's the Head Start preschool mentor coach. So one of us would meet with the new education staff as quickly as we could and give an overview of the curriculum. Just a brief overview. Kind of here's what I need to know to survive if I walk into my classroom tomorrow or if I walk into a home visit tomorrow. So obviously we would not put you out there by yourself tomorrow, but we want the no-nonsense version because you're going to get a whole lot of trainings and videos about the curriculum that are very detailed and explain why the curriculum exists, its history, how you teach it, what you do with it. Creative Curriculum, we have a whole online system that has trainings. It's got access to virtual coaches, all kinds of things. Yes. So there's a lot of training that goes in with it. But at first, you just meet with us. You meet with us, you find out, here's what I'm gonna do. You'll have regular check-ins from your supervisor. I think HR also calls. Yeah. They do like a wellness call in the beginning to kind of see how things are going. Yeah. And then
there's a lot of support.
Yes, there's a ton of different, and some have even said, I don't know why all these people are asking me if I need help because there's just so many of us that want to help, and it can be a little bit overwhelming at first to have so many hands like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I don't even know what I need to do yet. So just know that HR starts the process, and when in doubt, your supervisor, I say supervisor, but we call them program coordinators. In our
lots of acronyms in Head Start.
Lots of acronyms. So program coordinators, it's easier to say supervisor. So supervisor's kind of the go-to. They are our running knights in shining armor. They are everywhere, doing everything. Really. Yes, first stop. And they're the ones that kind of dip their toes in everything, so they know if you're struggling with this, go to this person, or I know the answer, I'm going to help you. So really it's your supervisor. And then from my standpoint, I would help with your curriculum. I would help with your lesson planning, your daily classroom schedule, your lesson plans, your assessment, setting up your classroom, all of those things. But the supervisor is also there to help with those kinds of things. Yeah. So we also, I don't want to forget the monitoring. There's a lot of monitoring that happens with Head Start, and that's always a seemingly scary thing for people, but our agency, I feel like, is really great about using the monitoring as here's your feedback, not here's what you did wrong.
Right.
Now there are some things that are compliance driven, and you have to fix them because, we want children safe. We want happy, healthy staff and children. But all of the other things, we get to use a specific tool and give you the lens of that tool to improve your own teaching practices.
Yes.
Which kind of brings us to the ongoing training.
Yeah, so if you're already an established employee, we are very big on continuous training for all of our staff, especially our education staff, because that's how we remain a high quality education service. So kind of walk us through like what continuous training means and like what do they receive?
We do a lot of training. Some would probably say too much, but Head Start, we're really big on self-development. We want you, me, the children, the families, we want everybody to be the best they can be. Absolutely. And you do that through your own professional development. And I won't take any thunder from HR because they do professional development, but truly we do professional development in everything that we do. Some of the specific, I'll do some specific for me so that way I'm not trying to explain the masses. For me, I go into classrooms and I will use, and I have a team of us that do it, but it's called CLASS, Classroom Assessment Scoring System. And that tool looks for the way teachers interact with the children, the way the children interact with the children, and how the teachers run their classroom, and how the teachers engage children's brain to think further about anything and everything. And so what I do with that, it's a very specific method to the tool, and the tool itself is research-based and proven to increase children's outcomes and help them be more successful in school and in life. So that's why we want those scores to be higher. But what I'll do is I'll do the observation, and then we give back what we call reflective feedback. And we'll give some strengths, and we'll give some areas for potential improvement. We always give the option for staff to choose where they improve. The only things that we would require to be an improvement would be like safety. Everything else is self-improvement. We want you to choose that you're going to do this differently, try it a different way, or try it the way that this tool says to try it, because that's a research-based way and it's been proven to work. So let's see if it works for me.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. So thank you for joining me today, Amber. Is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything you felt like you needed to touch just a little bit more on?
Yes.
All right, let's hear it.
So I was talking about the tools that we use for teacher-child interactions and assessment. Well, there's a lot of data that we collect for that. And so that you're really big on data too. So this could be good. So a big part of my job is to take our collective data as an agency and analyze it and choose trainings for staff that will hopefully be meaningful and help them to do all of the things that we mentioned earlier, all of the federal guidelines, improve their teaching practices, be more developmentally appropriate, improve their curriculum implementation, make sure that they're using it to the best of its ability, because that's what the research shows will help children. Make sure they're setting up their environments. I'm not just choosing that out of thin air. I'm using the collective data from all of those different tools, and it could be child level assessment tools, could be teacher-child interactions, it could be the monitoring, all of the feedback that we get, could be conversations, could be just staff letting me know, hey, I really want to learn more about this. And so could be the coaching, love that. It could be anything that will give me an understanding of what could help staff improve in any way. And I really like to try, and this is kind of a work in progress every year, but I really like, you're kind of good about this too. I like to take that group data, because group data is great for me as a manager. It's not so great when I give it to a teacher. They're like, how does this apply to me? So I'm really working on separating data into smaller groups so they can see within, because we span quite a big distance, and so I want to break it down into smaller groups so that this specific area can see, well, the majority of our children are lacking in asking prediction questions here, but here they're lacking in story retelling. So that way I'm not just collectively saying, okay, everybody needs story retelling, when no, these guys are doing great with that. These guys need something else. So I'm working on being a little bit more individualized with the feedback. In small groups and also individually to each classroom, because that's really important for them to develop themselves and improve. So I didn't want to forget that.
We do, I think, a really good job meeting teachers where they're at. We do needs assessments with our teachers so they can tell us what they need, where they feel that they are lacking, and we are our worst critics, so sometimes we don't see that they're lacking in those areas, but they feel that they are, so we try to support them as much as possible in those areas to give them that confidence to keep moving forward professionally and to feel confident in their classrooms. And we do a really good job. I mean, there's a reason that we are a high quality education service, and we just continue to keep moving that bar higher and higher, and that's our goal. Is, you know, we want everyone to be able to access us, and we want to be everywhere.
And part of that too is the CDA process, the Child Development Associated. I didn't even mention that, but we bring people in who just have a high school diploma, and they go through this whole CDA credentialing process to become a higher quality educators, nationally recognized. And so that we offer that for parents and for our staff. Our staff are required to have at least that or an associate degree or higher. But we offer that
on the job,
you can get it on the job, and we also offer it to our parents so that they could potentially branch out into the child development field also.
All right, thank you so much. That concludes another episode of NPHS Conversations. I will link our website in the show notes for you or someone you know that wants to join our NPHS family. And thanks for stopping by.